Welcome to The Explainer. If you enjoy learning something new in just a few minutes, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below. Okay, let's dive in. So get this, in 2025, the Indian Navy launched a new vessel, but it looks like it sailed right out of the 5th century. Seriously, it's a ship that seems to have traveled through time.
And this isn't some museum piece or cheap replica. No, this is a fully functional ocean-going vessel. Its very existence brings up this huge, fascinating question about technology, history, and, well, the future of naval power.
So, let's meet the star of our story. Commissioned back in May 2025, the Indian naval sailing vessel Kaundinya is a recreation of a merchant ship from the 5th century. You can basically think of it as a time machine built completely out of wood and rope.
And the commitment to authenticity here is just incredible. I mean, get this. There's no engine to fall back on. Not a single metal nail was used to build the hull. Every single movement depends entirely on the wind and the pure, raw seamanship of its 15-person crew, exactly like it was 1,500 years ago.
Now, you might be wondering, where did they even get the blueprints? Well, they didn't have any. Instead, they had to reverse engineer the entire ship's design from ancient murals found in the Ajanta caves. These 1,500-year-old paintings of giant ocean-going ships were literally the only visual guide they had for this whole incredible project. So how in the world do you build a ship that's strong enough to cross an entire ocean without using a single nail? It sounds kind of impossible, right? Well, the answer is in this ancient, almost forgotten method of construction they brought back to life.
The whole process is absolutely ingenious. They shaped wooden planks, drilled holes all along the edges, and then literally stitched them together with super strong ropes made from coconut fiber. But here's the kicker. The part that totally flips modern shipbuilding on its head, the internal frame, the ribs of the ship, is only added after the outer hull is completely finished. This hull first, ribs later idea is the secret sauce to the whole technique. And this method wasn't just for show. It had some serious advantages. A stitched hull is remarkably flexible. It can actually bend and absorb the impact of rough waves, kind of like a tree in the wind, instead of just cracking. Plus, no metal means no rust. Saltwater can't corrode what isn't there, making maintenance so much simpler. But the Kaundinya isn't just some cool experiment in old technology. It's a floating connection to India's deep and, often overlooked history as a truly dominant maritime power. And we are not talking about something that happened recently. The evidence for sophisticated shipbuilding in India goes back for millennia. You've got seals from the Indus Valley nearly 5,000 years ago showing boats with masts. Then you have ancient texts describing huge trade networks with the Roman Empire. It's an incredible legacy.
The ship's name itself, Kaundinya, is a huge nod to this history. Kaundinya was a legendary mariner, a figure from tradition who sailed east to Southeast Asia, married a local queen, and helped establish a kingdom that blended Indian culture with the local society. He perfectly embodies this idea of carrying not just cargo, but culture across the seas. By mastering the powerful monsoon winds, ancient Indian sailors built these vast, sophisticated trade networks. They sailed west to Africa and Arabia, and east all the way to the Mekong Delta, creating what were essentially highways of commerce and ideas all across the Indian Ocean.
Which brings us right back to our central question. Why would a modern navy, a navy with stealth frigates and nuclear submarines, invest all this time and energy into a 1,500-year-old design? What's the real point here?
Well, first and foremost, the Kaundinya is a tangible, living link to India's maritime heritage. It revives all this ancient knowledge and proves that the skills of the past aren't just stories in a book. They are practical, real, seaworthy technologies.
And it creates this incredibly powerful contrast. On one hand, you have this ancient vessel. On the other, India is pouring resources into projects like Project 75, building its own advanced submarines. The Kaundinya sends a message that these two worlds, the ancient and the ultramodern, are actually part of the same, continuous maritime story. For the Navy and for the nation, this ship is doing so much more than just paying tribute. It's a floating laboratory for what's called experimental archaeology, testing how these ancient designs really perform. It's an incredible training tool, forcing sailors to master the purest form of seamanship. And it's a powerful symbol of soft power on the world stage.
Ultimately, the INSV Kaundinya is a message, and it's written in wood, rope, and sail.
It's a declaration that the skills that carried ancient mariners across the entire world are not forgotten. They've been revived, and they are now sailing proudly right into the future.